brings it in. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1 inning, the A's are up by 1.
This pitcher's in a groove. That inning took no time at all.
Next up, Jermaine Dye. The two-seamer.
It's tough for a hitter to stay on a pitch that dives like that.
Circle change.
Tried to get him to chase the ball up in the zone. No dice.
Okay. All right. Let's lower that down, folks. All right, everybody. Welcome to Sports Goofs 74. I guess tonight it is brought to you by As Far as the Eye. Travel with your tribe towards the center of the world in a new roguelike, turn-based resource management game. And that is available today. So, right from the gate, we have a sponsor, guys. We've made the big time.
We're famous.
I can dig it.
Oh,
I can dig it.
All right, so 74th episode. Sports stuff happened over the last week since our last episode on last Tuesday, September 1st. So there's lots of stuff that went down. Andrew, your Lightning spanked the Islanders. Charles, our Miami Heat, squandered a possible sweep. You're very angry at your baseball team. And just very happy with his baseball team. I'm just hoping with my baseball team. That's all I can say. Football's about to start. At least significant college football teams, quote unquote. NFL will start this week. Bunch of other stuff. I don't even know where to start. You want to go to hockey, Andrew? You want to just get it out of the way? That's the
Sure, why not?
That's what's going down here. I have some notes and some stuff that went down. All right, so we're down to both the Eastern and Western Conference final for the National Hockey League. All of the games will be played in Edmonton at the Rogers Place from now on to the end of the Stanley Cup final. And as far as the Western Conference is concerned, we had the Vegas Golden Knights against the Dallas Stars, a very interesting matchup. We two Sun Belt teams, so we'll be guaranteed a Sun Belt finalist this year, and the Lightning move on. An all Sun Belt Stanley Cup final, which will really piss off Canada, because with the elimination of the Vancouver Canucks, how many years is it, Andrew? Since
27.
27 years since the Montreal Canadiens last won a Stanley Cup in 93, and the last Canadian franchise to hoist the cup. So there are people alive. There's an entire generation of fans who don't know what it's like to have a parade down the one road that Canada has, as we learned from South Park.
Blame Canada.
Canada only has one road. Goes from Vancouver to Nova Scotia or Newfoundland. Which one's the furthest east out there? Not even sure. Either way.
Which province?
Yeah, which province is the furthest east?
It's either Nova Scotia or New Brunswick.
There we go, BU. He's right there. It's those Newfies.
It's Newfoundland. Okay,
yeah,
so I was wrong.
All right. According to South Park, they practice sodomy, but we're not going to talk about that. All right. Everybody, there's no kink shaming here. If certain players like to have certain excrements placed on top of them, so be it. Right, Charles?
Are you referring to Odokolax Beckham?
Oh, God.
And we're going to comment on that later. Not about the excrement thing, but the beauty of puns in fantasy football.
Oh, my God.
When we get to our football. relevant because a certain man has Odell Beckham on his team, and
Listen,
me being 6 years old changed my team's name in a heartbeat when I found out about it. But continue about hockey.
All right.
We're in Edmonton, right? Is that what you said? Where the bubble's at?
Yeah. We're in Edmonton. We're in the bubble, and I guess we'll start with the Western Conference Final. So game one between Nova Scotia is the furthest east on the mainland. Okay, all right. So there's BU's contribution there. All right. The
We always appreciate BU.
Exactly. The Stars went up 1-0 over the Vegas Golden Knights in man, a really good game one. I mean, if you like defense, if you like low-scoring games, that's the game that you watch. But it's a Stanley Cup playoff game, and it had all the markings of such a game, and two very good teams. I mean, the fact that you had Kudobin, who's been doing great for the Stars in this playoff run. Listen, there's no playing favorites amongst the goaltenders in these Stanley Cup playoffs. Look, whoever's hot, and you play them. But so Kudobin did a fantastic job limiting shutting out the Golden Knights in that game. But the surprising thing was, Andrew, that the Knights started and went with Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
And I think from some people speculate, and I think it makes a lot of sense when you hear, is that the Knights have been riding on Robin Lehner for this playoff run so far, and I think the Golden Knights played. I might be mistaken, but I think at the very least they played 3 games in 4 nights, or something close to that. So it only makes sense that you would want to preserve him at the very least. Look, throw Fleury out there, and this is the beauty of having 2 capable goaltenders on your team. That's why you always love having the 1-2 punch. It's very rare that you have the 1A and the 1B. Usually your number 2 goaltender, your backup goaltender, is serviceable at best, but Lehner took over the job from Fleury, and of course Lehner started when he was in Buffalo and in some other stops there. So it's not out of the questions that he can't be a starter in this league. And Fleury, look, he's got the pedigree, he's got the
not the wrestling move pedigree, the good baseball player, good football, good hockey player pedigree. Sorry, I have a baseball game on my screen, and then I was just modding for college football, so that's why.
Who's playing?
What for college? Oh no, it's just regular week stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody was playing tonight. All right. But Fleury, I mean, we talked about Fleury a couple weeks back now, and he's been a good sport about it. His agent was kind of a dick for putting him in a rough position, but look at that.
What
Fleury
does agent do?
Yeah, Fleury comes in, and he only let one go by him, just one. That was it. And what more could you ask for? In fact, now the Golden Knights have they could start later, but they're perfectly set in throwing Fleury back out there. Why not? It's if Lehner even struggles just a bit, you've got your 1B, and so I don't expect the Stars to make this easy for as far as winning this series. It will not be easy from that game one. Vegas had some mistakes against Vancouver. I thought they should have taken care of that team a lot quicker than they did. Although Thatcher Damko kind of sullied some of that notion for Vegas. But regardless, there were some cracks in the Knights' armor which, all right, I did a thing. Hey, look at that. There were some cracks in the Knights' armor there that Vancouver did expose. The Dallas Stars played very physical. They're a very different team than Vancouver. And both teams are set up with veterans and good goaltenders. So it's going to be a great series. I enjoyed Game 1 very much so. And, yeah, complete opposite of what happened in the Eastern Conference, Andrew.
That is true.
I assumed you watched that entire game.
I did, from start to finish.
All right. Well, what was your you posted on our group chat? What was it? What did you post? The Lightning looked good that night or something like that?
They played well tonight.
Yeah, I said that was an understatement.
You guys probably know me. I'm superstitious in some ways about sports. I was very distraught when I had to shave my playoff beard for work purposes, because I had to go on a webcam or whatever. But
oh man, my Vegas Golden Knights freaking statement would have gone great with that Crusader Kings 3 advertisement right there. Sheesh, just a little too late, just like a minute too late there, Crusader Kings 3. Welcome back.
I wear my Lightning hat to every at every game when I'm watching it, but Lightning played well. I think the debate over rest versus rust was put to bed pretty quickly.
That's what you wanted. You
right,
wanted the rest.
Exactly. For those who weren't following, we got our series with Boston done relatively quick. It was a 5-game series, and considering that we had been in 2 pretty rough and tumble series with Columbus, including that 5 overtime Game 1 in that series, and then another 5 games with Boston, who was really hitting hard. I was glad that we got a few days off, and I was hoping that the Islanders-Flyers series would go to 7, which it did, and I was hoping that there would be a few overtime games in there, which there were. I was hoping, A, for us to be more rested, and B, for them to be a bit more beaten up and tired. And the debate was, do the Lightning come out fresher and better because of the 3 days rest they had, versus are they rusty and the Islanders, coming off of an emotional series, will be in the better position to take it. And luckily the rest won out there. Someone pointed out on Twitter, and this person is a bit, over zealous, I guess, as a fan. I'm not sure the best way to put it.
A homer, I guess.
Homer.
Both. Yeah, both. I guess both.
The kind of guy that is like, every call against the team is some BS by the refs.
Oh, he's a Charles.
Which, admittedly, there have been some bad calls in this series, but for the most part, the ones last were legit. But he made a good point that there's one player that kind of, admittedly, it was 6-1 at the time it happened, but he kind of took the play off, if you will, and it led to a goal, which really shouldn't have happened. The player, Tyler Johnson, he kind of coasted into the defensive zone, let a guy get behind him. I think it was, I forget who it was, but the guy got right into the slot and just roofed it past Vasilevsky to make it 6-2, which at the end of the day, it didn't really hurt. But it was unfortunate to see the lack of play there.
Sounds like another Tyler Johnson that Francisco and I are very familiar with.
Yeah, but this is a good Tyler Johnson.
So, and Johnny, as they call him, he's a good player, and he's incredibly effective on offense. Just hoping that he kind of sticks it out a little bit more on defense, because look, I know that we won 8-2, but I am not counting on that for the remainder of the game.
Oh no, I mean, yikes! I was surprised that the Islanders even let that happen. When I saw the score, I'm like, what is happening? I mean, yikes! But I do not see the Islanders letting. They're going to make a lot of adjustments, and you will not see that happen again.
Right,
and if it does happen again, they just hand the cup to the Lightning.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
My team's not in. I can say it.
So I mean, like I said, I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm assuming that each game is going to be like a 1-0 contest. That's how I go into every game. And again, I'm just a fan. I'm not a player, so surely they're thinking the same thing. But I think it's a good omen that we were able to get off to such a quick start. Braden Point is, pardon the pun, he is on point.
Oh yeah, look at this. Look at the numbers from Braden Point. So just that game alone, 2 goals,
he had
3 assists.
Oh, 3 assists. Jeez.
And 5 points for that game. And overall in the playoffs, he's got 8 goals. He's got in total points, 23 points, which leads the team. Just 2 above Kucherov at 21. So both of them are having Conn Smythe-esque performances there.
And we'll actually get to the Conn Smythe in a little bit as our Learn a Goof segment.
Yeah.
But, what's incredible is there was a good chance that Point would not actually be a Lightning. A Bolt, because when we drafted him in 2014, he was drafted 79th by us. We had to trade up to get him because we were assuming that the team that was a spot ahead of us, I forget who we traded with, there was a good chance that they were going to pick him. So we traded, I think, a 7th round pick or something to get Point, and by golly, that worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned briefly, Kucherov, he did something last night that I have never seen, nor a lot of people. I forget who it was. I think it was Kevin Weeks posted on Twitter that there's such thing as like hockey sense, there's something as hockey IQ, and he coined this new term for what Kucherov did on his goal last night, which was incredible. So what happened was someone did a saucer pass over a stick to Kucherov. Kucherov, when the puck was on its bounce so it bounced once on the ice near him, it bounced up. Kucherov lifted his stick, flipping the puck over another stick, essentially as a saucer pass down. The player, I forget who it was, who was coming up the right side. Kucherov continued up the middle, cross crease, one-timer pass. Kucherov puts it in the 5-hole as the goalie was coming across. I have never seen anything like that, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I just put it on the screen here, what you just mentioned. From
Kucherov is feeling it.
Yeah, he called it hockey genius. And that is hockey genius. And I distinctly remember Kucherov because last season with all the jokes about losing, getting swept in the first round, after that regular season, and the joke Keenan had about the Lightning setting the record for, or tying the record for most victories, and then tying the record for least victories in a playoff.
Right.
And then Kucherov was like giving Keenan Thompson the stink eye, which is great. And they all remember it. It's all that's burned into their minds, and it's fueling them so far in this playoff run.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of the reason why I'm never getting my hopes up. I mean, in the span of I guess what? I'm bringing UCF into this. In the span of 15, 16, 17. In the span of 5 seasons, UCF, I experienced a winless UCF season and a sweep in the opening round of the NHL playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't take anything for granted anymore. I am nervous as hell before any game because I don't know what is going to happen. So, and as Eddie Olczyk keeps saying in every game, that twice now, because we had a big win, I think it was 7-1 against Boston in the last series. And then, of course, this 8-2 win. He keeps saying, doesn't matter if it's like a 2-1 victory or an 8-2 victory, it's a loss all the same. And he's absolutely right. Although in some ways I think it's worse, because they're just going to be pissed off. And that's why I was worried about that one in Boston against Boston, because I was afraid, well, crap, they're going to get pissed. But luckily it didn't turn into anything, and we still won the series. We won the next game, I believe it was game 4 that the blowout happened. So yeah, I'm not taking much for granted with this, but it's definitely a good sign.
All right, so now let's do a little learning for Charles here. So we mentioned the Conn Smythe Trophy. I don't know if you know what that is.
Though. That's the MVP of the whole Stanley Cup Playoffs, right?
Look at that! Look at that!
Because last year we kind of did the segment, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess I forgot to erase it from the.
Well, remember, I might be an educated goof, but there's always the back to school segment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Rodney Dangerfield back to school segment of Learning Goof about the Conn Smythe Trophy.
I mean, we already discussed it in a previous episode, but yeah, the MVP of the entire playoff. So okay, all right. Other news, NHL news. Bobby Ryan, he wins the Bill Masterton Trophy, which we did talk about before as well. And do you remember what that is, Charles?
Is that best defensive player, or is that just MVP?
No, it's you won't know it from the funny Canadian names. It's basically like the comeback player of the year.
Award. Okay.
So Bobby Ryan, Andrew, you know this story as well.
Mm-hmm.
He earlier in this weird season, in the 2019 portion of it, in November, he had to walk away from the game, entered the NHL's player assistance program because he is an alcoholic. And I guess it was affecting his life to the point where he just could not continue playing. And so he goes in, he gets help, and he finally is able to make it back to playing in later on in the season before everything was put on hold. And he comes back and has a hat trick in his first game back in Ottawa, as he plays for the Ottawa Senators. Very emotional for him. He was crying afterwards. I'm sure a lot of people were crying. I was crying. Just a guy that admitted he had a problem, which a lot of people don't do. And, heck, we've all seen that in our lives, in our line of works as well. I said works, which is weird. And look, Bobby Ryan's not an insignificant player either, Andrew.
He's not. He's good, man.
He was originally with the Anaheim Ducks. He made the All-Star team in 2015. He was, I think he was traded for Silverberg. That was the trade between Ottawa and Anaheim to get him. And he won a silver medal in the 2010 Olympic Games in Vancouver. And he had a bit of a struggle, but he's not a bad player. And look, Ottawa's rebuilding. I don't know if he's going to be part of that rebuilding process. But
so he's an active player?
Yeah, he's an active player, yes.
So
let me give the official definition here of what the Bill Masterton trophy is. Want to get it straight from the NHL.
Right. And that's voted on by the NHL, the Professional Hockey Writers Association.
It's given, quote, to the National Hockey League player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey.
Right.
And by that kind of by virtue of that definition, it usually goes to somebody who has suffered some sort of a severe injury, health issue, but sometimes it's not. Like,
sometimes it goes to guys who lose family members in their lives, and then
right. Like, for example, the most recent one that didn't have anything to do with health was your good friend Jaromir Jagr.
Jagr was just because he was frickin' doing what he was doing at that age.
Right. But like in the past couple of years, Robin Lehner, who is obviously now with the Golden Knights, he stepped aside for a little bit because he went to counseling and help for alcoholism and bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
He did, and then year before that, Brian Boyle was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yep.
Craig Anderson, his wife, was diagnosed with cancer.
Yep.
And so on. So it's sort of an award to commemorate and to honor players who kind of went above and beyond to maintain a high quality of play. And the Craig Anderson one, which also with the Ottawa Senators at the time, I don't know what it is with the Senators and really good feel-good stories.
Well, it's because the hockey gods have to have some sort of karma for having such an awful owner.
Right.
In Eugene Melnyk, so it's a trade-off, I guess.
So, and I'll send the link to you for this, Charles, because you'll get a little choked up as well. But Anderson was absent for a few games because he left mid-season to be with his wife, who was diagnosed with cancer.
Was that the season that Ottawa made it to the Eastern Conference Final?
Yes, it was.
And they lost in like
Game 7.
Yeah, against the Penguins.
And unfortunately, the Penguins went on to win the Stanley Cup after that, so who knows what would happen if the Sens made it through. But in Anderson's first game back, he got a shutout. He blanked the other team, and it was an away game, mind you, but he still got the first star.
Yeah.
And, well, more than that, because away players will get stars all the time, but the crowd gave him a long-standing ovation.
Yeah, hockey fans are usually in the up and up with some of these circumstances, just by the hardcore nature of hockey fans in general.
So, Bill Masterton Trophy, good on Bobby Ryan for getting that.
All right. So, I guess that's...
Goof.
Yeah, those are all our hockey points here. Charles, I hope you learned something here today. And I hope whoever was listening learned something as well. All right, so we're at the half-hour mark. Baseball is happening.
Baseball is indeed happening.
I do want to start because I think it's appropriate as well to do a Let's Haul Y'all segment here. I told you guys that you can kind of guess who I'm highlighting two today.
And this was a rough week in the baseball community.
So
very unfortunate.
Yeah. So the first one, we'll go with the first one who passed most recently last week and a half. Tom Seaver, Hall of Fame pitcher for the New York Mets, most notably. And I mean, this guy, his numbers are ridiculous. I mean, dear Lord. Made it Hall of Fame class of 1992. He went to USC for college because he's from California, from Fresno. Drafted in 1965 in the 10th round by the LA Dodgers. However, he chose not to sign. The following season, the Atlanta Braves drafted him, but for some reason, Major League Baseball voided the draft selection. So he signs. Seaver eventually just signs with the Atlanta Braves. Or not with the Atlanta Braves, the New York Mets as an amateur free agent. And what does he do? He wins the National League Rookie of the Year in 1967. He then wins the 1969 World Series, a very nice World Series, along with Nolan Ryan and who they call it, the Miracle Mets, defeating the Baltimore Orioles, who were favored in that series.
And part of the reason, well, Charles, do you know why they were the Miracle Mets?
Was it the which year are we talking about? I was in and out because I was looking at the Heat game. Sorry.
69.
Oh, is it because it's a miracle that the Mets can get into a 69 phase? Ha ha ha! Back up. No, I don't know. I know Tom Seaver, but strong opinion. But this is a good way for baseball as well. There's only so much knowledge I'll put into if it's in my past that I probably read about it and then it just got processed into miscellaneous information.
Gotcha.
So what is their thing?
Well, the Mets' first season was 63, I believe.
Okay.
It's either 63 or 62. Or was it earlier? I don't know. But something with 63 was that they...
the 1962, it was the inaugural season of the New York Mets. Before they moved in...
They just absolutely shit the bed.
I thought it was their inaugural season in 1962.
I'll have to look that up. But
either way,
one of those years, they just absolutely were awful. And then 6 or 7 years later, there they are winning the World Series. So it was a miracle that they were actually able to do that well.
So, I mean, not to take away, but to add on to that, is that just even... So I guess in the 60s and 70s, they just had unrealistic propaganda against sports. Because 7 years into it, you have a building foundation. Because you think about the last franchise team, not counting the Vegas Knights, or whatever the hell they call themselves these days. I think about the Houston Texans, 2003 or 4 is when their reception was, and they were god-awful until B.O.B. showed up. And then... So it's just interesting that they were petty almost.
I mean, remember the New York Mets.
The
New York Mets were coming in. They came into New York after the Giants and the Dodgers left, and then the Giants and the Dodgers found success in California. The Yankees were in the middle of that freaking insane run in the 50s and the early 60s of just World Series after World Series after World Series, and the Mets. Somehow they put a team together that figured it out and was awesome for 1 year. And then I think they went back in 1973 to the World Series and lost to the Oakland A's. But it was kind of like a hope for all expansion franchises. Hey, it's not going to take forever for you to be good. You can find a way. And so Tom Seaver was known for the New York Mets. His nickname was the franchise. And
right.
I mean, Mets fans. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy that ushered in the New York Mets as a legitimate sports team, even though they're the butt of a lot of jokes. Regardless, he legitimized the New York Mets, and so I mean, 3 Cy Young Awards, 12-time All-Star, 3-time ERA title winner. He had a 19 strikeout game, which at the time was tying the record against San Diego in 1970. He no-hit the St. Louis Cardinals in 1978. He had 3,000 strikeouts and 300 wins. So those are the magic numbers for pitchers for Hall of Fame status. He was traded to the Cincinnati Reds, played with them, the Chicago White Sox, and the Boston Red Sox at the end of his career. And yeah, he's the franchise. That's Tom Seaver. So next is Lou Brock, who just recently passed away this past weekend. And he's also just straight up legend. Straight up just gigantic legend here. So Lou Brock, Hall of Fame class of 1985, left fielder, played at Southern University, which is, what's the nickname, Andrew?
Hold on, I'll be right there.
He'll be back. All right. He went undrafted, signed as amateur free agent with the Chicago Cubs, and he played, I think, like three seasons, and then midway through the 4th season with the Cubs, he was traded to St. Louis Cardinals. But I'll get back to that later. So let's take a look at the huge numbers here. 6-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 1964 and 1967 with the Cardinals, 3,000 hits, just 938 career stolen bases, which at the time he was retiring was the record until Rickey Henderson basically shattered that record. But Lou Brock originally shattered the stolen base record. I was asking Andrew, Southern University, nickname of the team.
Uh,
I think they're out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I mean, I know colors are blue and yellow, if I remember correctly.
All
or
right.
blue and gold. Yeah, I'm stumped.
Oh, wow. I was surprised. Well, I don't know what it is. That's what I was asking you. All right.
Let me look it up.
It's probably some sort of dog or cat.
And my guess is when I read it, I'm going to be, face palming because, of course, I knew it. Well, first off, blue and gold, I was correct. Well, Columbia blue and gold, and it's the Jaguars.
Okay, so it was some sort of cat. All right. So Southern University, that's who he played for in college. Yeah, he shattered the stolen base record so much so that the National League created the Stolen Base Award for whoever got the most stolen bases in a single season for the National League every year. And they named it after Lou Brock while Lou Brock was still an active player.
Respect.
His last 2 seasons of his career. So he never personally won his own award, but they frickin' named it after him while he was still playing. And yeah, the huge thing was, people posted this on Twitter, he was traded by the Chicago Cubs to the St. Louis Cardinals. And there's an underlying, horrible thing that happened. Why? Because there were some in the Cubs organization and season ticket holders that complained that they thought the Chicago Cubs had too many black players on their team. So the Cubs traded him to the St. Louis Cardinals for, and this is where I do the nice little segue here. Players will remember to forget, because you won't know who this guy is, and I surely did not know until I saw this. All right. So his name is, and I got to find it on my frickin' thing here. All right, there he is. And gosh darn, I can't even spell the name right. Well, that's how forgetful he is. I can't even spell the name right. All right, Ernie Broglio. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Can we just appreciate you for being able to segue that into a truly irrelevant player? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't plan. You guys know this, barely. Francisco is working, protecting people's rights, and then making sure you have the right to be entertained on this damn show.
We don't
so,
get Crusader Kings 3.
Early, let me segue that into Francisco, guys.
Crusader Kings 3 just doesn't hand out sponsorships to anybody,
Exactly.
All right, so Ernie Broglio, he was a major league pitcher out of El Cerrito High School somewhere in California. Played for two teams, the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs, between 1959 and 1966. His stats are there. I mean, he was an okay pitcher, I guess you would say. 77 and 74, 3.74 ERA as a starter. He passed away last year, so I'm not trying to sully you, Senor Broglio, but I'm just saying, you are considered, this trade for Lou Brock and you is considered, I'm talking like as if he's watching this show from beyond the grave. Maybe he is.
Rest in peace, sir.
Spanish visitors coming in with the energies. Clairvoyance, just to tell him that he sucks. That's polite.
So Ernie and Ernie's family, listen, I mean, you're seeing this all over Twitter now, all right? He was traded for Lou Brock, and Lou Brock goes on to have a Hall of Fame career, and the Cardinals win 2 World Series, while Ernie Broglio and the Chicago Cubs, he only won 7 games for the Cubs over the next 3 seasons that they had him, and then he promptly retired at the age of 30 because his arm just wasn't good no more. And the Cubs were in the midst of that massive 100-plus year World Series drought. So, shame on the Cubs, all right? Retroactive goons for back in 1964, all right? Gottlieb's goons, the 1964 Chicago. Look at this segue right here. The 1964
Grandma Gottlieb goons.
Yeah, the 1964 Chicago Cubs, all right? There were some grandparents and great-grandparents that chose not to have the Chicago Cubs win a World Series because there were too many black guys on their team. So these people and the people who work for the Cubs rather have more white guys and a team that doesn't win the World Series than having a few more black players and having a successful franchise like the St. Louis Cardinals, who have the second most World Series championships behind the New York Yankees. So the 108-year drought, the curse of the Billy Goat, whatever you want to call it. Listen, baseball gods know. They know. They know, and they punished the Cubs for it for a very long time. All right? They put Steve Bartman in that seat next to Moises Alou. They knew. The Cubs didn't deserve anything by then. No. Not until 2016. All right. So, the retroactive goons, the 1964 Chicago Cubs. They finished 76 and 86, and the Cardinals won the World Series that year. So, they're perennial rivals, and you traded a Hall of Fame player to them. So, that's insane. That's kind of like the Red Sox trading Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees.
Or Mookie Betts.
Well, I don't know if the Dodgers are their perennial rivals, but all right. So I guess we're in Gottlieb's Goons. Sheesh, I didn't expect us to be here, but Charles kind of got me on a roll with the whole segue thing, and I'm like, let's keep segueing to segues. So Gottlieb's Goons, guys. I know Charles has one because he's steaming over his baseball team.
Well, he's not necessarily you know what? I'm the goon. I'm the goon for having expectations because it's gonna be a conjoined thing. It's gonna be a double. It's gonna be a cliffhanger until we get the baseball. I'm the goon for spending $20 on MLB.com on a New York Yankees T-shirt that I think is exceptionally comfy as I go and run in this blistering heat to keep fit. It doesn't chafe my nipples. I don't really have to put Vaseline much on it. I really wish I could have 50 more. It's a segue of everything. But I'm the goon who says, let me get this as we're in the midst of being just about 6-7 games above 500. And here we are struggling for our lives, 1 game behind. So I'm the goon. And I probably deserve it anyway for a lot of stuff that I messed up on, especially like the old Twitter thing with Jeter. You know what? I'm a goon for not being like a Marlins fan. I'm a goon for not being, I can't be a Rays fan. They move too much. It's going to be in Montreal next year. I'm just a goon itself. It's me. Maybe I should prepare myself. I'm not eloquent. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Self-righteous hatred.
We'll get to that, I guess, in the second half of the show. We're at the 45-minute mark. But we're here at Gottlieb's Goons, guys. And I think we can all agree. I think this is like the most unanimous of a goon of all time. EA Sports.
Yep. Maybe.
Yes.
Because they did a certain save face today, and I'm going to counteract it when you talk about it.
Oh.
Just so you guys know, I'm doing 2 middle fingers right now.
Look at these guys. Look at these smug pieces of crap. Look at them. EA Sports. Oh my goodness gracious. Where do we begin?
Anymore.
Where do we begin, guys? I mean,
well, can I air my grievances here?
Sure. Where's the Festivus poll?
It's going to start because there's no college football, right?
Well, I can talk about college football. We had a few games this past week.
Oh no, I'm talking about EA and the game.
Oh, right.
They're goons.
Well, no, that's not it. That's not on EA at all.
But you don't want them to have them.
But I don't want them to have it anymore. No. I grew up with EA Sports. Probably the first sports video game I got was NHL '98, and God, what a fun game! 99, fun as hell. 2000, fun as hell. That was the first year that you could kind of create a player with, you could like take a picture of your face and then just like little points to make it accurate. And my sister was probably, 2000, so it was probably like, it was like 8 years old at the time, so that would mean my sister was around 18. We just went ham on one guy and created an absolute monster that should not exist on this planet, named Scary Mofo.
That's
but EA Sports, MVP 04, MVP 05, all these games I grew up with, and I still play them today. I broke out the old Xbox. I've been playing MVP 05 a bit, and they were just so much fun. And now they've just gone to complete and utter shit. And it is so sad. Back in the day, there were 2 companies that I wanted to work for. I wanted to work for ESPN, and I wanted to work for Sports. Both of those are complete shit now, and if I were to tell my 10, 12-year-old self that in 20 years or so, EA Sports and ESPN would be shells of them former selves, I would say, I don't believe you. That, and how in the hell, why am I talking to a 28-year-old who looks like me? That would probably be the first thing that I would say. But yeah, it's just so sad. They're so complacent now, and I'll stop, because I had my rant earlier, or not my rant, but my long segment earlier when I was talking about the Lightning. But it's sad to see what's happened to such a great company who made such good games. They just don't give a shit anymore.
Unlike the makers of Crusader Kings 3, rated 10 out of 10 on IGN, and I think 9 out of 10 on GameSpot.
As well as far as the eye.
Yeah, I don't know. That game just released.
They take scores as far as the eye can see, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
And the famous saying, EA Sports, it's in the game.
That used to mean something.
Back in the day, for those who don't know, and although people who are watching this probably know since you're about our age, it was, if it's in the game, it's in the game. And then they just shrunk it down to, it's in the game. And It's not in the game anymore, my friends. You know, I brought this up the other day. There's a practice field in Madden 21 where it still says, there's a banner that says Madden 19. They have not touched that file in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you've got, well, I see Francisco is playing all of these clips right now. They're putting the bare minimum in. And it's unfortunate because thanks to EA, we have this whole, arms race. It's not even an arms race. 2K basically owns NBA right now. Sony basically owns baseball. It's all because EA Sports decided, you know what, we're going to buy the rights to the NFL.
All right, so...
And since then, it's just gone completely downhill because they don't have any competition.
And that's the whole thing with this.
It's just so sad. I hate it.
All right, guys.
So much.
Wait, can you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys hear me.
Sorry, my rant is over. I know I said I wasn't going to do one, but here I am with a rant.
Hey, guys, can you hear me? I don't think you guys can hear me.
I feel like I have one now that's not me, just to kind of jump on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it always kind of goes into, like, the prima donna standpoints of players. But it's a soft goon. It's a soft goon. Nothing too crazy. But Leonard Fournette, can I talk about it for like 2 seconds to kind of...
By all means, I'm pissed with him too.
Well, so here's the thing, and you should because this affects your UCF guys and back in the day, but he on the radar recently just say, because now he's in Tampa, he got lucky. He gets cut out, waved out, and here he be... apparently Francisco's having some tech difficulties, so we'll manage it a little bit. So he gets released from Jacksonville, goes through waivers. I mean, look, it's the truth. Like, Dave Caldwell has been the GM for, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Oh, perfect.
You know what? Maybe I should unmute my freaking mic as well so everybody can hear me talking about this. Gosh, man, it's Sports Goofs. You guys knew the deal when you clicked on the show.
Goofs is not a term lightly used here. We're just stupid. We fulfill that.
All right. So what was being discussed?
I had a real goon aside from my self-hatred, and it's just Leonard Fournette, and it's a light goon.
Oh, okay.
It's a light goon, because not being liked enough to be finishing out to your contract to which your team wants to get rid of you is one thing. It's a statement that he kind of said today when he goes, for the first time, I really have a QB. Oh. And then he proceeds to kind of throw down his past quarterbacks, which, mind you, they're actually, having a decent track record. Blake Bortles may not be the best, but Gardner Minshew and Minshew Mania, is something that Jacksonville's looking forward to. I think it's a little bit of a jab back to him anyway, because Minshew says finally we have guys who want to be here instead of being prima donnas, for lack of a better word. And listen, the stash can say whatever he wants for all we're concerned about. And then with Blake, Blake had a tough kind of season, but then you have, Blake just has a tough career. Number 3 pick, I think, Andrew, and then popped in position, took him as far as the AFC Championship, couldn't, seal the deal and all went on the wayside. And then Nick Foles, broken collarbone within the first quarter, couldn't win. But that was never going to fit as a marriage anyway, because Nick Foles was a product of good play calling and better wide receivers. At that time, you had, when he was there, a second-year DJ Shark and then bust up D.D. Westbrook. You can't win with that. And Chris Connolly. But now Fournette's saying, at last I have a real quarterback. You got Tom Brady at 41. You have Bruce Arians, who I think is kind of now in the, I'm going to say it, maybe you were overrated as a coach in the Arizona days. Was your success a product of everybody around you kind of thing? I mean, granted, what he did with the Colts of Andrew Luck's first year when Chuck Pagano had cancer was just something amazing. But, sometimes, and that's the thing about coaches, too. You're good until I think you suck. Sorry. That very relevant to a certain conversation we're going to have later. But now's the time. You've already kind of gotten that reputation for being a troublemaker and a headache, not like the equivalent of DeAndre Baker, who's definitely a goon, and he's going to be in jail for like 10 years for what he did with the armed robbery, allegedly, right? Lawyer words. But now's the time when you can take a better caution to just not say anything. And I don't know if it's the ignorance of the youth, or maybe it's because of the fact that it's known that wide receivers and running backs tend to be the prima donna positions in football. But you can't really go out there when your product wasn't even good enough to be kept on the same team through the end of your rookie contract. So a little bit of a light goon, bud. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So let's loop it back around to EA, because we can always do EA bashing all day long, and I do have my own grievances. Look, I didn't buy EA games. I'm not one of those people that buys sports games every year. I cannot justify a literal patch, a roster update year by year. I need significant leaps. And I know, Charles, you have your like 3-year rule where you buy once every 3 years, which is, I guess, good, but not when it comes to EA, because gosh darn it, man. I mean, they seem to keep getting worse and worse, and there's evidence. I think Sports Drink TV on YouTube does a fantastic job highlighting how awful EA is now with all of their sports. It's not just Madden. It's NHL, FIFA. The complete failure of them trying to resurrect. They killed NBA Live and then tried to resurrect it, and it is just not up to snuff. And look, even people want to bash 2K with the microtransaction and all that stuff, and yes, we can bash them for that too. But they still make a good game. They make a that's the thing. They make a good game.
I thoroughly love NBA 2K series, and I will chime in on this one. They had NBA 2K19 like last year for $3, and I picked that up. And then PlayStation Plus was NBA 2K20 like 2 months ago. And even though it's basically the same game, what they tend to do is just change a little bit in certain the buttons and maneuvering to make the dribbling fine. But one, it's pretty. The commentary is fantastic. It's not like Madden, which is just the same guys over and over again. So here's the thing: it's like eating at Wendy's. It's not the highest quality of burger, but it's a burger you're always gonna wanna order, guys.
Oh my god. So yeah, NBA 2K, I mean the 2K sports, I mean, yes, they've microtransactions to hell, but they have attention to detail, they have great presentation, and it makes you stomach the other stuff at the very least. And look, you don't have to buy into it, but people play sports games for a reason, and but EA has taken out a ton of features from the Madden series, from every series, 2K, and look, EA put themselves in this position of what we have in sports video games right now, as far as on the consoles is concerned. They got threatened by NFL 2K after Sega, Sega of all people, made the fantastic NFL 2K5 while they were shelling out Shadow the Hedgehog, which doesn't make sense, but whatever.
You don't want to be a hedgehog with guns, Francisco?
Shadow the Hedgehog is such a horrible game. And Sonic Heroes is a bad game too. All right.
I think another issue that EA had was that it was priced at 2/3 or 1/3 the price.
That was it. It was NFL 2K5 came out at $20, and all of the games were at $20. They had the ESPN license. They had a fantastic presentation, great gameplay. It was the works, and people were crossing over. I had NFL 2K1 on the Dreamcast, fantastic game.
2K3 with that was the other good. Yeah, I'll get to him next week.
Yeah,
it was relevant to everything I was saying and what you were saying.
While people while the normies were playing Madden, I was playing NFL 2K. All right, and the normies finally realized NFL 2K is a pretty good game for $20. Hell yeah! And they found out, look, it was a great entry point, fantastic marketing, and then EA bought up the NFL exclusive license, and that was it. It was awful. It was horrible from there. I mean, they made good games up until this past generation, starting with the PS4 and the Xbox One, and it went all to hell after that.
Oh, can I just interject really quick? I have the Western Conference Final on. Laner is starting in net tonight for the Golden Knights.
So it was a rest game for Laner then. Either way, Fleury did a great job in that first game.
Which makes sense. I mean, that was a really rough. Again, any 7-game series is going to be rough with a bunch of hits, especially. Well, I don't know, but that was a tough game.
Yeah.
So
and I'm gonna wrap it up, but we know everybody knows EA's goons. They just have, they're just horrible, and they keep doing horrible things. And I told you guys, if people have done it on Twitter, if you complain hard enough, or not even hard enough, just be like, "Look, I bought the game, I want a refund." EA will just send you a code, basically getting you a free Madden. So the game is basically worthless to them because, of course, they want you to spend an ultimate team and all that crap. And of course, Madden's not the only series. There was a controversy with UFC 4 where they had advertisements mid-game, like a commercial break during a game, as if it was real life, all for the sake of quote-unquote realism, when we all know it's just trying to keep lining those coffers. There's no end to EA's greed. And of course they hire cheap labor. They're using a Frostbite engine that's not meant for a football game. It's meant for an FPS. So they're cheap on the engine too. We don't know what's going to happen with the PS5 and the Xbox Series, whatever the hell they're calling it. S and X, whatever you want to call it. Innuendo aside.
Just need an E. E.
Yeah, there you go. They're probably going to have a Series E, watch. And so they just suck. They're awful. I only have one EA game that I know of that I bought legitimately. And that was NBA Street V3, and that was only because Mario was in it. So, yeah.
Oh, can I do one more thing before we head to
yes,
head to the non-sponsors? The only reason why is because we did it in this half of the show. So, a company sent a tweet out. It says, "Sending our love and congrats to Bobby Ryan on winning the Bill Masterton Trophy. Very well deserved." Guess who the company was?
Was it Budweiser or
Molson Canadian?
Oh
Molson
my
Canadian.
God! You gotta be kidding me! Is this on Twitter?
Yes. Although you have to go to hockey images that precede unfortunate events, because my guess is Molson's taken that down already.
Oh my God!
Now, admittedly, they did come out and apologize. They said, I forget what they said, but they did come out and apologize. But still, someone was not thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's their freaking response. Upon learning the context, realized their message was not appropriate and took it down immediately. We intend to congratulate the player on one of our partner teams, but understand the situation was inappropriate for us to comment on. We apologize. Yeah, it was just, social media intern that just like, hockey player. Hockey player won. Oh, okay, for Ottawa. All right, we're a sponsor. They put it out, and they didn't know what the reason was for, which kind of, implies the fact that maybe not all Canadians follow hockey. Just saying, So you hardcore Canadian hockey fans, just chill out, all right? Let us have our Sunbelt Stanley Cup final. The Montreal Canadiens won 24 of the damn things. You guys are fine. You guys won enough Stanley Cups, and the Leafs won a bunch when there were only 6 teams in the league. So, just calm your tits, All right, let's go to non-sponsors here. People, places, things, concepts, what have you, past week that we've been enjoying. Guys, can I start, please?
By all means.
You know, it would always seem like a cop-out when I go to this company. And Charles, I think you know where I'm going to go with this. Gosh darn it, Nintendo. Nintendo.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Nintendo, come on. You guys, how do they know? How do they know what will get me to relinquish my money? They just know how to freaking tug at my heartstrings. I mean, Charles, the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Re-releasing Super Mario All-Stars, which as soon as I found that out, I played through already on my Switch. The freaking Puma shoes. Mario Kart Live with the actual toys that you can play on your Switch and make a racetrack in your own home. And it's cost $200. I don't know.
Better start saving.
Oh my! Maybe a quote unquote present for my nephew for Christmas. This company, man, this company. Listen, they do some things that frustrate me. So that's fine. I mean, Mario 3D All Stars is only for 6 months. It seems kind of like a cheap ploy. I get it. 6 months, but I mean, look at that. If I buy it at Target, I get like a magnet set. Who the hell would... I have a fridge. I would want that all over my fridge.
If you bought an amiibo, you might as well need those magnets.
How many Mario amiibos do I have? I have 3 of them.
I got 3.
Yeah, I got a gold, a Smash, and an NES one. I mean, gosh darn it, man. And Hyrule Warriors, Breath of the Wild, trying to find out... That's so smart. Instead of making a full-fledged like prequel game that's in the style of Breath of the Wild as far as like gameplay-wise, it's like, okay, hey, Koei Tecmo, you guys want to do another Hyrule Warriors? We'll let you tell the story of what happened before things went to crap in Breath of the Wild. Oh, wow. What a brilliant move. Before they go on to the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which I guess is going to come out maybe next year, I would assume.
They're saying November 2021.
Yeah. For the Switch Plus, whatever they're going to call it. So that they're probably going to make me buy anyways. And I probably will buy. Man. How many years since childhood, since Sega bowed out. I've been a Nintendo fan just through and through, and they just keep getting my frickin' money. I can't stop. I just can't. It'll never end. Promo code money siphoners.
EA?
But this is a good money siphoner, all right? I will happily pay for Nintendo anything at this point. Sure, I'll buy Mario 64 for the 5th time. Why not?
You want to go next, Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. I was about to make a comment about how Nintendo is basically EA, because here we are getting games that are the same with a fresh paint or a fresh coat of paint. But here I am also buying it too.
But then again, EA has never made anything as good as anything Nintendo's ever made.
That, and the difference is different consoles.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the same year annually. So I'll go to my end. So I had something in mind, and then incidences and life changes you, gentlemen. You know, I was going to pick a video game, but like life being the wind and I am the bag, I only go where the wind dictates me. So, and I was telling Francisco this earlier, Andrew, but I don't think you jumped in the call. But for everybody else there, having a vehicle is very concerning. Having a vehicle is a great way to lose big amounts of money depending what issues might come up. We're paying insurance, we're paying overpriced car payments. We live in Florida, someone rear-ends me, I still have to pay some money out of it. It's all just, haberdashery and everything in the in-between. And one of my biggest concerns driving on the roads is that I'm either going to get a final destination incident where I'm just behind some, truck that's having the log cabins and my head comes clean off, or, a tire is going to pop out and I'm going to have this big explosion scene from the Fast and the Furious. Luckily, none of those things happened today. However, when I drove to work, everything was fine, and then I went to leave to go to a undisclosed location for signatures. My rear driver tire was flat dead, gentlemen. And I'm like, what the hell is this nonsense? You ever try to do a U-turn so you can get to the local Wawa's just to put some air in there, just see what's going on at zero? It's very frightening because where I was locationally train track. So I go to the Wawa's. So it's like a double head up. So the nice gentleman at Wawa's who told me to go to this place behind us, you're real MVP and you get a short non-sponsor, Tim, you're a great guy. But so I went to my non-sponsors, Auto Experts of Stewart. I asked for their card because just in case I have something like that, just go from there. And I knew I was going to give him praise today. So Auto Express, and the general manager's name was Donald at Wawa's. Tim's the guy who I spoke to at Auto Express. So they patched up my tire. They fixed it. 20 minutes in there in the blazing heat, BSing guys with everybody. Patched up for $10. I was like, oh man, wasn't even 20. That's fantastic. $10, I won't miss it. Because I got to tell you guys, I didn't have a fix-a-flat. My father had borrowed my air compressor that usually pops into air to fill it up, and he broke it. So thanks, Dad. Love ya. So I hate having the car thing because anytime there's a car issue, I just fixate on it. So knowing that it all got resolved within 20 minutes, $10, and didn't really impede my day at work, and I got to go home without having a final destination situation. Thank you, Auto Experts of Stewart. Complete automotive repair. They do not have an email, but they are across from the Ace Hardware on 909 Johnson Avenue, Stewart, Florida. You're my non-sponsor. Thank you.
All right, let's Automotive Experts of Stewart.
Auto Experts of Stewart.
909 Southeast Johnson Avenue.
Yep.
All right, there we go.
Big ups. Big ups.
There you go, guys. If you're ever in the Stewart area and something happens to your car, y'all know where to go.
$10 tire, man. That's ridiculously cheap, though, because there's other places where you just haven't. It was a nail at the end of the day, but it'll be 20, or if you want to do a full-out patch, it could be 40 if you're going from the inner tubes out. And it also makes me realize I got to go to Walmart and just buy those in case of emergency stuff, because if that stuff happened after hours or late at night or going home, no one's open. I don't want to pay anybody for tows. Tows are the biggest scams. But not Auto Experts of Stewart and North Crusader Kings 3.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, promo code, Lifesavers.
Nice. Okay.
Mine is going to be pretty short and sweet. My non-sponsor is Netflix. For a few reasons. I mean, they have a lot of stuff on there that I enjoy. Not just their original content, but also, the stuff that they bring in. Like, for instance, they revived Lucifer, which is a show that I really enjoyed. That it was originally on Fox, if I remember correctly, but they dropped it, and then anyway, but more recent, and why I'm bringing it up is they have this new documentary called High Score, which is about the history of video games, and I'm really enjoying that. That is a lot of fun to watch. And it's been very informative, and it's just another of Netflix's great offerings, and I can't wait to finish it up. I still have a few more episodes to go. It's a limited series. Promo code High Score, I guess.
Oh, all right. 2 video game related things, which I guess is appropriate, given how much it. We highlighted how much EA sucks. And it's not just, and it's gosh darn, I'm going back. I'm going back to the goons. I just want to. It's not just Madden. It's everything. The Sims 4. I mean, go read up on how they've screwed that one up. Go read up on that. I mean, it is. Oh my God. Okay, I'm out. We're back. We're back to the main segment. All right, guys. So baseball talk. We got baseball games. Let's on the score crawl right now. Oakland A's beating the dirt and stinking Houston Astros 4-2 right now. St. Louis is up 5-2 on the Minnesota Twins. That's not good. We need the Twins to win that for me. as a Marlins fan. Yankees are, oh God, Charles, they're losing 2-1 right now to the Buffalo Blue Jays. 0-0 between the White Sox and the Pirates out in PNC. Holy shoes, the Marlins are up 5-0 against the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. Sixto Sanchez. Oh, soon we're going to call him Sexto Sanchez because, my God, man. Oh, second coming of Pedro Martinez in Miami right now.
Sanchez.
Oh, yeah. And Pedro Martinez, he basically anointed him the second coming of him, and I'll be second coming for sure. I'll tell you that later on tonight if they hold up this 5-0. The Tigers up 1-0 against the Brewers. The Rays, come on, Andrew, they're down 3-4 against the Nationals. We can't have the Nationals having a miracle run in September to get back into the playoffs. We can't have that happen. So get it together now. And 5-5 between the Royals and Indians out in the Cleve, the Factory of Sadness, or next door to the Factory of Sadness, actually. 0-0 between the Golden Knights and Stars at the moment. And our beloved Miami Heat are up right now, 63-56 at the moment.
I changed the channel when we were down by 10 to play games and prep for NXT, and I'm afraid to actually go back and watch it because I acknowledge the score, and I'm like, I believe the jinx, man.
My stream of the game on my other computer, for some reason, stopped, and I haven't reloaded it, and I think it's a good thing. So I'm just going to trust the score crawl for now.
This match matters too much for it to, kind of go from there.
Yeah, and then the Rockets and the Lakers, 1-1 tied in the series, play at 9. Later tonight. Baseball, guys. Charles, you have more grievances.
Let's just do it. We cheese it there. So the hardest part about being, I think, a fan.
All right. I was about to say the hardest part about being a Yankees fan. We have too many championships.
Yeah, too many. I mean, we just spend too much money. We're just too good. The hardest part, I think, sometimes is when you're having a bad season, is trying to pinpoint what the season is. Because when you have an injury-filled season, what do you like to do? You're not doing well, whether it be... And here's the thing. Who knows what expectations are? Who knows what you could actually achieve? Because each year is different, man. But when you have an injury-riddled season like we have, you want to say, we're going to finish at 500, under 500, barely make the playoffs because of our injuries. But that's not the case here. So then you're saying, but who is it? It's like saying who's the a-hole, and you're pointing your finger to other people, but your thumb's pointing at yourself. I'm the a-hole. So I'm like going through this process of like, who's the issue here? Is it the fact that Gleyber Torres was out? Is it the fact that Aaron Judge was out? Giancarlo Stanton was out? DJ LeMahieu was out? The fact that we don't have Luis Severino? The fact that Domingo Germán likes to beat people and he's on the DV suspension? Is it that? And then I'm like, is it Cashman? The man who has been the model consistency for all, running the offices and all sports for the last 20-plus years, has yielded all those championships and great players and great draft picks and overspending? Is it his fault for not properly and adequately preparing us with a secondary pitcher to replace the people that we needed and rested our laurels on J.A. Happ? Devi Garcia, who looks like a decent find, hoping that Masahiro Tanaka could be anything better than number 3 in the rotation, or not doing anything the trade deadline whatsoever when Mike Minor and Clevenger were out there for basically nothing and just want to hold on to the stock farms? Is it him? Or is it a manager who you like to fire, who was coming in with the philosophy of being more of a team-friendly guy when we got rid of arguably a great manager? Because I always say it, even when he left, Joe Girardi kind of got the stiff end for being more like an adult, telling adult boys to grow up, right? So I'm watching NXT too. Holy crap, that was fantastic. Side note, real quick. Finn Balor wins. That was a great
match.
Yeah, you missed it. Well, it'll be on Twitter, so we do the highlights. I just had to pop that in the real loud. So I'm like, all right, it can't be Boone, right? He's got a little bit of that spunk. He's the guy who said, my guys are effing savages last year. You fell in love with that because you had Joe Torre, who was so mild-mannered. You had Girardi, who was very much like, I am the system and must be a robot. And so he's doing great in Philly, by the way. I'm very happy for him to have some love there. But then I realized, man, like looking, and Francisco, and I know Andrew stepped out to take the call, we've played a lot of doubleheaders. more so than a lot of people, and it's exhausting.
No, not the Marlins, But
not the Marlins. But I'm talking about the recent trend because you guys got back into the swing of it. Because we had the Mets, we had the Phillies, we had Mets again. I think we had the Rays. It's exhausting, but this whole 7-inning rule, which I've abhorred since the beginning of mankind anyway, it doesn't matter because all our double headers went past 7, and we were having a hard time winning. But we've had the lead in so many games. Last night against the Blue Jays, we were up 5-2, man, and then all of a sudden this 6-inning run happened.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's right.
And here's the thing. You know how sometimes in sports where you feel like you really kind of actually know what's going on with the sport as an issue as opposed to being conventional talking head? How many weeks have I been saying, man, we're losing because because Boone is just not pulling starters when they need to. They'll let him stay on a little bit longer than they should be. It's been a consistent trend. Or he's just like doing these weird rotations where Jordan Montgomery or Dave Holder are just going to be in only 3.2 innings, and they can go for 4 because the expectation of a lot of these guys in the bullpen, Adam Ottaviano, Green, a few other guys, they're seeing more field, more action instead of our proverbial starters that we have. So they're just blowing it all up. It is just complete trash. They're blowing innings. Like, how do you just come in, pitch 1 inning, and let up 5 runs, man, or 6 runs? And we're not doing anything about it. So there's Boone last night going, I thought Aviano had good stuff because he's trying to keep the ball. I'm like, no, you need to talk to Cashman. You need to say designate him to the alternate site. You need to pick up one of the young arms and say screw it, because you cannot take. And it's very full circle because 3-4 weeks ago we were talking about Jace, whatever his name is, the manager for the Padres, I forgot his last name, basically saying that you can't tolerate losing and making excuses. Tangler making excuses.
Tingler,
and here you are.
Remember, he didn't make you tingle.
Yeah, exactly. But here you are making excuses for not giving hard criticism. Shame is the ultimate teacher. And you got to make, and I've had issues with Aviano in the past. That's why I'm very surprised he's still around. But in our team, because he just lets it up, man. So does Green, lets it up. Montgomery is kind of like a hybrid starter going into bullpen thing, but you can't trade away everybody too. So I can't be that a-hole who's just like.
It's so hard this season.
But but he's not managing. He's not managing. You don't coddle guys who are costing you wins.
I feel like, I don't know if, especially if like the injuries or whatever. Do you think? I'm going to pose this question. Do you think the Yankees? Do you think they could phone in this season and be like, "We're preparing for next season"? Do you think that there's an air of that?
But I've kind of said that either 2 shows ago or last show, where I'm like, if we don't make it to the playoffs this season because of injuries, it's fine. But here's the thing: I will accept the big I as a bad season. I will never accept the little I. I can't stand incompetence. And here's the thing, guys. I don't play baseball. I don't know look at baseball. I didn't get Little League. But I'm a common sense guy, because I think there's a vicarious understanding and learning and development as a fan who actually watches the game in any sport of the do's and not do's. You see Mike Trout, you walk Mike Trout, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. In basketball, you want to beat Giannis Antetokounmpo, you make him sweat and give him the foul trouble.
Yeah.
Right? In football, you throw it deep to Duke Hopkins, and he can do something. Right? That's just the simple rules. Yeah. That comes into it, and Boone has literally just let the bullpen destroy ourselves. It's blown, say if Zach Britton's blowing up, Chapman's not even seeing the field, so it's like legitimately what you're doing. So I don't want to look. You could phone it in, but you shouldn't have to phone it in when it's just so easy just to get to the playoffs. And I'm saying it easy because we're not struggling to get runs.
It seems so easy. It seems so easy when we talked about it. Heck, even last week. It's not even that long ago. So last week, hold on. Let me get my phone up. It's been charging for a bit here. All right. So we can go into the standings here. So we talked about it. I said the American League was basically set. Like your 8 teams are there. There's a clear separation between the top 8 and the bottom 8. And that's it. But the week has happened, and some teams have gotten hot. The Mariners have won 6 games in a row. And they're sitting behind the Yankees, I think, like 2 or 3 games now. The Los Angeles Angels, the team that we've been, bashing all season long, have won 5 games in a row. It's not completely out of the question to go on a super 2007 Colorado Rockies type run. It's not. It's possible.
Did you see Tyler Hero just hit that 3 on the strip?
I'm not watching.
All right.
I am not.
I popped it back in.
Okay. I see the score. I see the score at the top of the screen. It's the end of 3. I see it, but
okay.
Get 2 minutes left, and then I might pop in if it's big enough of a lead. But then the Buffalo Blue Jays here, look, they're 6-4. It's not like they're world beaters at the moment over the last 10 games, but the Yankees, 3-7 over the last 10. They've lost 4 in a row. They're facing the Blue Jays, who leaped over them in this series.
And one of the things, Francisco, jump on, this is going to go back to Boone, is that
and by the way, the Baltimore Orioles have won 3 games in a row and are 2 games back of the Yankees.
Yep. And so to bring it into it, because you had asked me, oh, Judge is injured, Stan's injured, but what if I always told you? Wait till their playoffs. Because baseball is a full 9-man lineup at the rotation, right, when we're going to be in hitters. So to rely on just 2 guys to bring it up there is folly. You always want to bring dudes up there. That's where LeMahieu has been excellent. We finally benched Gary Sanchez because everybody was like, oh, you should trade away this process. He's the one I want gone because he's defensively weak, and all he wants to do is just swing for the fences. As opposed to just being like the great Posada, who was like, I'm just going to hit, I'm going to hit singles instead of dingers, baby. But it really strikes, and to answer your question and further on what I was saying, yes, I felt it was easy for everybody to get into it because I felt like it was an open invitation. I think the product of everybody being good now is because you have a shorter season, because I want to give you a comparison to the Nationals. Where would they be in a 60-day run? Well, they would be nowhere. But, if a full season, they were able to make the run and go to the playoffs and go from there, right? So, now you're just getting the tail that you have. So you're getting the bad half, or you're getting the good half, depending on the team. So that's when the injuries come in. So I don't give it much thought into it. But so that's my answer to you. But on the Aldeo, it's Boone, and he's incumbent. You know what? You've had 3 seasons to work with it. I think this is season 4. If memory serves me right. I'm old. Forgive me, kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 3. This would be the 4th season. But
yeah, because he took over 2017. So, yeah.
So here's the thing about the management. Now, with the way that... And he doesn't really do, weird pulls or anything. I always thought Girardi was a master of knowing the bullpen.
He was a catcher.
Yeah, but, he knew how to set those guys. He knew how to set everybody in, how many innings he wanted, how he wanted to develop people, how he wanted to ease them down. And then we get into Boone, and here's my thing about Aaron Boone. I think he's really his success, his very above. And you know what? I'm gonna stat it. I'm gonna stat real quick. His record, because I have to do it, guys. Because if I'm bringing this heat, I'm trash canning them. I'm gonna let them know. His .633 winning percentage, his 212 wins, 123 losses, I think is a product of the talent that is on that team now. That you've been able to really kind of push it through. And mind you, I'm
basically it's like a monkey could manage this team in a sense.
You're working off the talent that Joe Girardi had.
Yeah,
Joe Girardi's remember
like Larry Coker with with Butch Davis's
precisely
roster.
Because Girardi, the reason why Girardi was out because he was already on that for almost 10 years, guys. If not, he was there for 10 years, and it came to a point where he was like. Cashman was like, listen, we have a new wave of people. They're babies. They're the baby bombers. We don't know what's going to be, and we need you to be more friendly. And also, he was probably telling Cashman, you need to pay me more. And then Cashman was like, we don't want to pay you more. And they forced him out the same way they forced out Torrey.
Now that I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't understand why they didn't think, if that was the case, why they wouldn't think that Girardi was incapable of developing young players when that's what he did with the 2006 Marlins.
But that was a season and a half, and also Girardi was known for being for being a bad mouth to management.
Yeah, but still,
Marlins and them weren't crazy.
Yeah, but still, he won the National League Manager of the Year in that one lone season. The players loved him, and he got the most out of a squad that was supposed to lose 100 games. So it's not like he's not incapable of developing guys and understanding young players and things like that. I mean, of course now the Yankees in the pedigree, so I guess that's going to be his identity from now on, given what he's taken over in Philadelphia, because he's taking over a team that they felt was underperforming, and he's trying to get the most out of a team that should be winning more. And hey, lo and behold, they're actually winning right now.
Yeah, 21-17. That's what they're at right now, and it's in line.
Recent hot streak too.
Yeah, because you have competency. You don't have an incompetent manager there. You don't have a manager who coddles the players when they have a bad game. You have a guy who will shoot it straight. And on the flip side, you have somebody who is just going to kind of lead by example by being lethargic. You have to sometimes be tough on these guys. It doesn't matter. They're not going to get their feelings hurt. They're not going to ask for trades. It's sticking to it straight. He finally, at this point, made the decision to bench Gary Sanchez. And so, like, hey, take some time off. I think Kyle Hichikoga is now setting up into it. But he's got to figure out that rotation. He's got to say, you got to give me a set pitch count of if we're going double headers, you're going to give me 60 pitches, man. And if we're not doing double headers, we're going to go 6 innings deep. And we're going to proceed from there. Because it's that incompetent kind of way of managing more with less that you want in a coach for competency, as opposed to having an embarrassment of riches, but you ate all the bread at freaking Longhorns and now you can't enjoy the steak, so you wasted the steak. Thank you, Aaron Boone, because now I don't want my New York strip rare. I hate you, because you look at Tampa Bay, and this is where if Andrew's here I can prop it. They're injured. Okay, you guys are injured. You're just it's not doing well, but Kevin Cash is your what's his name? That's his name?
Yeah, that's the manager.
Okay. Yeah, I remember things. He's working on that whole, maybe less is more mentality, or more with less, whatever you call it, but they're succeeding. He's making the right ways of who to start, how to play it out, how to do the rotation, when to do the bullpen.
Sheesh.
What's their excuse that they win?
He is a stickler for detail. I mean, they shift pretty much every play.
Thank you. Thank you. Whereas Boone's just sipping on a Mai Tai, stroking it out a little bit in the dugout, say, you guys are savages, kicking it back. No, do something, because you have a team in your division that is literally suffering from the same quandaries as you, with a lot of, no offense, Andrew, a lot of no-names that are putting in that work. And you know what? If they did bad, I feel that they have a manager who would tell them, you need to grow up. You need to step up. And we don't have that right now. So I am all full on board for go ahead and fire Aaron Boone. I don't know who would be available out there in a very shortened season. He won't get fired. I'm just petty. We understand this, but it's gross incompetence that can ruin a season that I felt we had a very strong chance to at least get deep into the AL playoffs. Because right now, to me, it's still Dodgers' game, because holy crap, are they disgustingly great right now in my eyes. But that's neither here nor there until we get to October.
Yeah.
And that's my big rant on Yankees. Andrew, take over the lead of great Tampa Bay-ness, and why now I will root for them because they have a competent manager and ownership.
Oh, what a frustrating franchise, man. Okay, so Andrew, I know I said some things over the past weekend when the Marlins were facing the Rays head-on at Tropicana Field. Mm-hmm. Some of it I did mean. But, man, it's just frustrating, And the Marlins were part of that, freaking didn't have a stadium, and were playing someplace that people didn't go to, and you had a small payroll and that type of stuff. They were that franchise before. And the Rays are on another level. They are, they are Moneyball East at this point. They
deserve a movie.
If they
right now,
if they win the World Series, they do more. They would have done more than the Oakland A's did with this. So, man, they're good. They're a freaking good team. They shift so many times. It's all strategy. Like you talk about the chess match. Look, Kevin Cash, and some people are like, oh, the American League game is less strategy and that type of stuff. Oh no, Kevin Cash is playing a different game. He's not playing chess.
He's not playing money, baby.
No, he's not even playing chess at this point. All right, everybody's playing chess at the moment. He's playing, Magic the Gathering or something like that. He's on a different level at this point.
He's playing Battleship. If he's able to read you well enough, he knows where your boats are. You got no chance of survival.
The Rays management and coaching, they have found ways to get around their low payroll. They have found ways to maximize players and to take advantage of certain weaknesses on the other team. It's almost like it's like a well-coached football team in a sense too. I mean, just studying and it was frustrating to see over the course of the 5 games that the Marlins and Rays went head to head, and we only won 1 game this season. But man, if they win the World Series, yeah, make a movie about them. Yeah, those are there you go, Andrew. That's if you want to talk from here, go ahead.
I'm glad
the
that
Nationals today. That'd be fun too.
We lost pretty badly to the Nationals yesterday, and we're pulling it back here. We were down, I think, 4-1 at one point, and now we're just down 5-3. We came within 1. It was 4-3. Then they tacked on a run. And aside from the fact that I want the Rays to win the World Series, we've been close recently, but more importantly, and you and I discussed this when I met up with you a couple of weeks ago, Francisco, is that winning a World Series will all but guarantee that the Rays stay in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
I think. Look what happened with Seattle.
Yeah.
They just made it to the conference, or they just made it to the playoffs. And they got the new stadium, and the Marlins, they were able to parlay the 2003 World Series into a stadium. It seems like winning a World Series or winning a championship in whatever sport is kind of the onus for a team and a city to work a little bit closer together. And look, I will never change my stance that teams that are trying to get millions, hundreds of millions out of cities and counties, I will never change my stance that they're being real assholes doing that. But this is really kind of the first situation I've been in where a team that I really followed and had a tie to was at risk of moving. The other times I was kind of going at it from a neutral observer.
Yeah.
So it was easier for me to say, don't do it, don't pay the money. But now when the Rays are at serious risk of possibly moving to Montreal, I don't want to see that happen. Yeah. I don't want to see them move anywhere other than Orlando. If they're to move anywhere, it's going to be Orlando or Tampa Bay. Those are the only 2 places that I would accept them moving.
So question, if they move, would you follow them? Like they move next year? Because I can understand it's not the location, but still the same players that you've learned to like.
Oof.
Still Glasnow. It's still.
Do you think Houston Oilers fans follow Tennessee Oilers?
It's weird because being a Titans fan, but it came much later in life. For me, in theory, let's forget that. Let's talk about the most recent stuff. L.A. Chargers, San Diego Chargers, right? St. Louis Rams, Los Angeles Rams.
That was an ugly breakup between San Diego and the Chargers.
Very much so.
I don't think people are following them. I think that love is gone. It's not like, heck, it's not even the Raiders. They've kind of made the relocation part of their brand. It's like, oh, Raider Nation's in L.A., it's in Oakland, and now it's in Vegas. It seems like they've owned up to it, and that's part of their brand.
See, I think the weird part is too, going to Vegas is more exciting to me than San Diego going to LA. I'm like, same state, guys. I get it. Locationally, it's different and what have you. I am not ignorant to geography. Yeah. So I'm like, meh. Like the Rams, like for the St. Louis Rams, it was just a product of, if you watch football, they were just god awful for so many years before McVay came over.
Yeah,
no, there was a period of trash.
I mean,
man.
heck, when
Jeff Fisher's your coach.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Jeff Fisher killed that franchise.
That story. I mean, or Kroenke wanted him to kill that franchise to justify the move. Because
he got paid.
Yeah.
What they were $3 billion that they were getting in that investment.
So I mean, yeah. Look, they have their stadium and it's theirs. I think they privately built it, but LA gave them the land for it, obviously. And it is. I mean, that's part of the thing with the Rays. All right, I want to just get this out of the way.
Well, let me answer Charles' question. Real quick.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of letting it percolate. I don't know. If they,
I find it very hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
if it happened to my team, I don't know. I have to let it go because that's such a lifelong thing.
Especially the way that they're doing it, which Andrew, you do not like at all. The way
I know.
Heck, flirting with Montreal, the frickin' the two city idea. Sheesh. It's basically what happened to the Expos. Oh yeah, they'll be in Puerto Rico and then they'll be in Montreal.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
You'll cheer for the Marlins.
Yeah, he would find an NL team. I think the mass, like in our generation, the generation that follows us, for sports, it's easier for us to have a 2-team system, I guess, to kind of build into it. So maybe you find an NL team.
Well,
right?
I mean, the Marlins are my number 2 team.
There you go.
I followed them when I was a lot younger. I was watching the 2003 playoffs with bated breath, and they were always my favorite team. But then I decided to go the Orlampa connection and drop them from 1 to 2. But I still follow them quite regularly, the Marlins. So regardless of what happens, the Marlins I will still follow the Marlins. The question is, how closely will I follow whatever the Rays become?
Yeah. Okay, so week in Major League Baseball, just the players of the week. For the American League, Lourdes Gurriel for the Buffalo Blue Jays. Went 14 for 30, 467 average, 2 homers, 3 doubles, 6 RBI, and a 1.282 OPS. And he had a 4-hit game on Sunday against the Boston Red Sox. And for the National League, Marcell Ozuna, he went 13 for 28, 464 average, 5 home runs, including a 3-homer game against the Boston Red Sox, who I guess are, gosh, man, they really suck this year.
Beautiful.
4 doubles, 13 RBIs, 1.674 OPS. And he wasn't the only Atlanta Brave to have a 3-home run game against the Red Sox, which is that's those are the players of the week in baseball. And I guess I do have a minor league team, and I guess we can mini segue because I guess we'll talk about basketball, but the game that we are intently following is happening right now.
It's almost done.
Yes, and so this segues once more. I thought about this intently for our minor league team. It is the Sioux Falls Skyforce.
What a cool damn name.
Yeah, the Sioux Falls Skyforce of the NBA G League, the G League affiliate of the Miami Heat. They were established in 1989. They formerly played in the Continental Basketball Association. And then when the G League was being created, back then the D League, Development League, they moved on over from the CBA to the G League in 2005-06. They've won 3 championships, 2 CBA titles in 96 and 2005, and a recent G League title in 2016. They've been the exclusive affiliate at least, of the Miami Heat since 2013, and the Miami Heat bought the team in 2017, so the Heat do completely own them. They changed their colors to look exactly like the Heat's color scheme, and they're named the Skyforce because in the Name the Team contest, there were 2 finalists, the Sioux Falls Sky and the Sioux Falls Force. And they decided, hey, let's have both. Get my chocolate inside that peanut butter.
I'm not going to lie to you. Calling them Skyforce would work better if their jerseys were the Miami Vice colors.
Oh.
Completely. Full time.
I mean, I could see it. All right. So, Skyforce, another team that doesn't have an S at the end of their name, which matches the Miami Heat very nicely. And there are some guys on the current Miami Heat that were former alumni of the Skyforce that were called up to the NBA. You got Derrick Jones Jr., so you got Airplane Mode, you got Chris Silva, and you have our boy Duncan Robinson. And they play at the
Duncan.
Oh yeah, they play at the Sanford Pentagon, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, opened in 2013. Capacity of 3,250 people, and they've hosted some NCAA D2 sports championships, NAIA basketball championships, some D1 games, and their first ever sporting event was in 2013, a preseason game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Milwaukee Bucks, who the Heat are playing right now. There's less than 5 minutes. The game is still pretty damn close. So I'm not going to hit that reload button just yet, Charles.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I'm going to do my smack talking and it's going to mess with me.
Gosh, Andrew, you're feeling that on the Lightning side. I mean, look, I know that they're up 3-1. I was disappointed in them losing Game 4. I was. Especially the way that they lost, and of course he had the whole foul controversy where, they overturn out of bounds play, giving the possession to the Bucks. But the only reason,
look at that hustle.
The only reason that it was out of bounds is because Jimmy Butler was fouled, but they couldn't replay that and a bunch of other crap. But had the Heat played their normal defense, at least the normal effort on defense, they wouldn't have been in that position. I mean, you're given the golden opportunity of Milwaukee losing Giannis.
So let's talk about that real quickly after you finish that thought.
Here's my take on this, all right? I know people on Twitter are like, oh, the Heat don't want to win it like this. I don't give a crap.
Damn right.
I don't give a crap. This is the playoffs. Sheesh. Listen, Andrew, look, the Islanders, if they lose Matt Barzal, that just makes it a lot easier. That's
right.
That's look, 2003 World Series, Game 5, David Wells has a thing on his back that caused him to leave the game, and the Yankees were forced to put Jose Contreras, who was incredibly wild and was trashed in Game 5. Fantastic. Great. All right. Look, them's the breaks. I don't know. When it's championship time, I don't care how they do it. Look, I mean, Charles, you mentioned about the Raptors, how basically the entire Warriors team was down, but who gives a crap? Look, the NBA trophy's up in Canada right now. They're celebrating that. The Leafs suck, and that's all they can hang on to. And
listen, if we get to the finals for the Eastern Conference Finals and it's the Celtics, Gordon Hayward's out.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
You take it because for some reason it ain't us.
Yeah. If we face the Lakers in the NBA Finals, LeBron goes out. Oh, the NBA gods have blessed us today. That's how I would think. That's how I would feel because, look, at the end of the day, if you win the whole damn thing, look, people can put an asterisk, people can question it, but the banner still goes up, and the only asterisk behind any team should go to the Houston Astros.
Well, yeah, but it's silly to even think that, and a full season's played out, getting to the finals, that your starting core is going to be healthy. That's just a silly concept. Right? It's not like every bench player, you're 10 or 11 or 12 in basketball, is going to be hurt. And that's it. That's what you're gifted. Right? Oh, that's what you're gifted. Noah DiVincenzo. Sorry. No. You give me Giannis, that's fine. And that was the thing we talked about last time on the show. Giannis is, still man boy. 25, huge, but, he's still got to learn his body. You got to figure that stuff out. Put some meat on the legs, not bust your ankle out. It was terrible to see him get hurt. You hate that he gets hurt, but you know what? You take what you can get. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed to be used. You just got to be useful. And that's what we're being right now. I just think it's amazing that we haven't had the big injuries to any of the players that we've had at all. Because here's the thing, too. Giannis, if he's out just for this series, they can foreseeably survive because they have Middleton. If we lose Bam, I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
You can have Jimmy Butler. You can have Goran Dragic. I'm like, our leading rebounder who's averaging like 14 rebounds a game. Bye. Hell, even if we lose Kelly Olynyk, who is good like every other game, at best, every other game, our likelihood of success just goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we lose that big shot, big man. We lose Goran, done. So you take it as it is, and also at the end of the day, there's no excuse. Listen, especially for the NBA, and I think you'll agree with me to it, teams get a lot of leeway for injuries either. Because, Golden State, you think their egos were broken losing that final? So, they had nobody left standing at the end of that series.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's like we get it. There's a lot of coddling in basketball when it comes to injuries and how it affects you. Right? For football, it has to be your quarterback who breaks his leg. Before they give that, you could have still won speech. That doesn't really apply to basketball, I would feel. Unless you are literally their engine. And for the Bucks, it's not there because you have Chris Middleton, who's doing excellent. And then you have Eric Bledsoe, who's kind of trash. But then you have Brook Lopez, who's kind of bringing that in there.
Yeah.
But you take it, you accept it, and you love it. Now, mind you, and here's the thing, too, the Lakers, LeBron tore his knee. No one's going to feel that sympathy because, you still have Anthony Davis because this is a sport based on all-stars. But if LeBron did tear his knee, you're like, well, LeBron wasn't healthy. So, it's okay. They're going to pass on it.
But then you have the other half of people where it's like Jordan would never have torn his ACL.
That's a different. You and I both know that's a different argument.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know, but still,
we can't use that.
That's
thing.
always
but how about this? Let me ask you this to make it small in basketball because I know time's weird. Yes. But is Giannis a Pippen instead of a Jordan? Because remember, Jordan, and what people don't forget is Jordan didn't win. He didn't win trophies right off the gate. There was that 3-4 year gap.
I don't see Giannis like a. I feel like Giannis is, I don't know.
So what's a Pippen when you're a
young Hakeem Olajuwon, just a guy that's on a team that's Houston. That's he needed Clyde Drexler in order to get him over the top.
But that's the argument was that I think it was Richard Jefferson that said, maybe he's not a Michael, maybe he's really a Scottie. But I'm like, Scottie was damn near excellent for the forward position.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls were still a competitive team when Jordan played baseball, and Scottie had some weirdness when he went to Portland and Houston, but he wasn't a scrub by any means. I mean, he wasn't a 1B or 1A. It was, Jordan was number one, and yes, Scottie was number two. That was just the way things were. But look, it's the same argument like Anthony Davis. I mean, he's a 1, but now the Lakers have a 1A and a 1B. I still think Giannis is the go-to guy. I mean, look, this is like his second or third year of superstardom. So
I would say effectively the full second.
Yeah.
As soon as Budenholzer came in, that's when it became concrete.
So it's still.
But is he a stat stuffer? Because that's why I put into the group chat that it's more of a stat stuffer as opposed to everything else. Because defensively, he won't guard guys. He's just kind of there. He gets the rebounds to length. I think he's a good facilitator on the offense. So.
Or, I mean, you could also think of him as LeBron pre-Miami.
Yeah.
Because LeBron pre-Miami, I mean, he wasn't the defensive freaking monster that he is now. All of that, LeBron, as you see him today, all that happened in Miami. The Miami years molded him into that, and we got peak LeBron during that time frame. But I think Giannis is just a product of what he's been given, and he's, like you said, learning on the fly, and he's got a good team around him, but maybe it's not good enough, or they're missing one key element that's not there.
What could you do, though?
Or he's just not at that point, and it's hard to talk about that when the guy's injured. So who knows what would have happened if he's playing right now. The game's close right now as it is.
Oh, it's terrifyingly close.
I know. I see the score crawl. It's 2:33, 2:16 now, and the Heat need to make some buckets, please.
Don't do this to yourself.
I'm not watching. I'm just looking up at that top right of the screen there. So we're down to 1 hour and 55-minute mark. So can we go to the cage? Can you do this while you're watching that? Or?
Yeah, of course. If I did it last time, I could do it here. Are they calling charge on him? That was a foul, man.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
let's do this.
The return of the NFL and college football score crawl on the bottom there. But we're gonna see what happens week 1 with the NFL, because we had no preseason games, and it might look really rough.
Can I say my Odell joke before we go into the cage?
Why not?
All right, so guys, I've gone back into fantasy football. I'm in 2 leagues. So one of my first leagues, and this will probably be the weird weekly segment that comes in, but my original name was Big Papa Pump in lieu of Scott Steiner, wrestler. We love him. He's the genetic freak. So I have Odell Beckham on my team. And so news came out today. I'm in the group chat. It's me, the other attorney, and my paralegal. And I officially changed my name because of Odell. And I will run this entire season with his name as long as I have him to Big Papa Dumps.
Oh,
and I can't wait. Because imagine losing to that name. Puns are beautiful. This has been a pun show anyway. But just own it, baby. Just own it. I will, because originally I was going to call it the Mud Butts, but it's like the best of both worlds to have it be my original name of Big Papa Pump, and then the thing there. For those who don't know, without going into full detail, there is an allegation that Odell Beckham Jr., great wide receiver, likes certain things disposed on him, is what I'll use to keep it PG. And we don't kink shame here.
It's 2020.
Yeah, exactly. But
if I identify as a toilet, why not?
Yeah, and it just even makes it better because he's on the Cleveland Browns, and the nickname of it.
Oh no, I did not put that together. Now, thank you.
Yeah. So it's just fantastic.
Andrew, where are you? Where's our moral compass? You got to stop this.
We kept it PG straight up. Like I didn't even say what the second thing. It just has something to do with like Steamboat Willie as Mickey Mouse. But yeah, Big Papa Dumps, and I will let you know now with a weekly routine what Big Papa Dumps and then the Argentinian Ace is doing in his weekly fantasy football, because I hate fantasy football now because it took too much of my life involved. You get the anxiety, but two leagues needed me as a fill-in, and I popped in. One money league, one non-money league. So cage time.
Yeah, Vegas Golden Knights, they're up 1-0 right now. So
who do you want to win out of that? Andrew, let's pick on that because I didn't pick into it. So Andrew, real quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Western Conference, who would you rather face if the Lightning do make it?
Because Golden Knights would be a team of destiny at this point.
Yeah, I'd rather. Well, I don't know, because Khudobin has just been on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Leonard and Fleury are both pretty good too. And then people will be rooting for the Golden Knights as the underdogs if they were to face us. I mean, surely if I wasn't one of the teams remaining in the Eastern Conference, I would love to see Vegas win it all. 3 seasons in, they win their first Stanley Cup. Talk about a great story, but I don't know. I'll have to see how the rest of the series plays out.
Yeah.
Because I can see positives and negatives to both teams.
Just 7 games, triple overtime in Game 7, basically, so that they're tired.
Yeah, that's. I guess what I'm really rooting for is another. Like he said, every game goes to overtime. Well, not every game because one of them has already passed, but 6. It goes to 7. 6 of the 7 games goes to overtime. A couple of 2 and 3 OT games in there. Everyone is just dead tired, and we win in like 4 or 5, and we get the rest versus rust thing again. That's what I'm rooting for, but as of now, it's. I guess I don't know. I'll have to see what plays out.
All right then. All right. Well then, let's head on over to the cage as we have a minute 30. Brooke Lopez is shooting some shots right now.
I'm either going to shout or it's going to be good. My graphic on? All right, let's get into it.
Let's do
Welcome, everybody, to your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. As you know, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a song. It is a dance. It is poetry, emotion. It is many things, including what Superstar Billy Graham hates to say that I say it is, because I really do believe it's ballet. It's just very physical, right? It's a story about men and women chasing championships, friendships dissolving, friendships getting back together, 2 people just trying to beat the holy hell out of each other. And then more or less, it's about Vince McMahon just being like Kid Icarus, flying to the sun until his wax wings melt down and he falls. But the problem is Vince is so smart, he has a damn parachute. And the man falls. So I'll start the golden parachute, because I'll start with it, because as we're watching NXT right now, congratulations, Finn Balor. We finally got like another part to it. He won the NXT Championship today in a pretty good match against Adam Cole, which it was on a pay-per-view. It was not. It was just here, so that means there was commercials. It ends with Balor doing the 1916 DDT off the top rope. Very good for him. He's probably going to hold that title until Karrion Kross comes back to murder him, basically, and then Finn can go back onto the main roster, as all things should be. Is it time for Adam Cole to get called up? I don't know. I don't know what you're doing to Undisputed. There's a lot of uncertainty because you got call-ups, you got people sick. Oh, okay, I'm watching the Heat game. It's the last minute. We're going down to the wire, just like Finn Balor. Are we going to be successful? Let's do this. But a lot of things kind of happen. So Vince McMahon's kind of a goon and a bad guy. Because wrestling, there's 2 goons. But I didn't want to do like the goons for them in means of spoilers. But for first off, is Vince is a goon because he put an edict out there to talent saying that you cannot use the wrestling names that we have given you. Because guess what, guys? The wrestlers, Hollywood Hulk Hogan's not really Hulk Hogan. His name's Terry Bollea. Sorry, I tell you this. The Rock is not The Rock. He's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Stone Cold Steve Austin is now legally Steve Austin, but that was not his real name to begin with. So there was the idea of if you're using the wrestling name, trademark, copyright of the name that we give you to promote with a third-party brand, such as Cameo, Mixer, AJ Styles, and a few other things, Twitch, we're going to possibly fine you, suspend you, or fire you. And there was a lot of messy reports that came out there because there was a mess-up, and there's no clear honesty towards it. Because I'm very curious because, the big controversy of wrestling is that they're considered to be independent contractors, so they don't get the health insurance that Vince wants. But now you're putting an edict out there that you can't use these names or your own names to provide a platform, especially since their contracts, they're only getting the downside contract payments because there's no live touring, they're not getting merch, stuff like that. So there was some controversy, misinformation, possibly, can't see me, but quotation marks, about misinformation. Man, Chris Middleton, you got some weird eyes, dude.
Oh my God.
Just things I notice coming into it where even if
I forgot a goon.
Well, is it? I have like 2 goons wrestling. Is it a wrestling goon? Because I'm sure I can jump on that.
Gosh, it was a tennis goon.
Oh, yeah. No. I was surprised, too, because I was expecting you to go for Mayor. But
yeah,
we can circle back into it.
I saw tennis on the score crawl. I'm like, oh, gosh, darn it. The one time we talk about tennis.
Oh, but continuing. So the idea is that there was misinformation.
2-0 Vegas.
Ooh, the team of destiny. There was. Hey, that's a foul. That's a foul. But there's misinformation about them using the real names of Vince, saying we even own your real name. So, for example, AJ Styles is known as AJ Styles, but his real name is Alan Jones, or The Undertaker is known as Mark Calloway. So if you have your own damn cameo, go from there. So this ruffled a lot of feathers, because imagine, and so I have other friends who like wrestling. Surprising, right? It's not just me on this island, but they're like, can you do that? And I'm like, well, if I have Trujillo Law Firm, and you're doing things outside the area of law, but you're still projecting as through your law firm. No. So I get it on a business sense or Vince, but stop trying to have your cake and eat it too, but poisoning the rest of the slices so other people don't eat your cake, even though you know your cake's poisoned except for that one slice.
So the controversy is wrestlers.
I don't want you making money without me paying you.
The wrestlers outside, in their capacities outside of wrestling, using their check, or maybe kind of like college name, like this an image,
their brand, plain and simple. But what about the wrestlers who can't get TV time and they have to find a way? Zack Ryder, now Matt Cardona. What about like the people who like Xavier Woods? Austin Creed, give me the shout out. He does Up Down Down, which is video games with wrestlers. I absolutely love it. I watch it. It's hysterical. He loves Mario, and all this other stuff, but you can't do that brand. Are you going to put those restrictions? Can you put those restrictions? What are you signing your life away on when you take that contract? And if you say that you're an independent contractor, but you're also in charge of all the names, rights, and likenesses, don't you, by obligation, have to give them workers' comp or insurance or anything of that nature? What are you doing?
It's basically like being on the job all of the time. Like if the WWE is allowed to
no, I'm going to tell you
profit
really
off of you in a sense like that, but
not that. I'm going to tell you the way it is. It's the fact that I am a contractor. I'm a construction guy, and I go pick up people who are undocumented. But I'm going to pay you less. I'm not going to let you have the health insurance, but you should be grateful I pay you. If that's like the way my brain works with it, not to make it political.
Yeah, no.
But that is the perfect way to address it. To where you are still, because that's the thing too. If there's a particular hand that you have, you can't work with the other guy.
Do you see the screen right now?
No, I'm sorry. What was up?
Homer Simpson with a top hat and a mustache.
Yeah, because they're changing. Like Paige went from being Paige to Sarah Bevitz, her real name, coming into. Oh, we won this game.
But that kind of sucks because people know you as the character that you play.
Bigger question. If I have name, brands, rights, and likenesses, and I had it coming before I went to WWE, I signed it, and then I get fired from WWE, I have to create a new mantra. I have to create a new character.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's true as well. Could you say it's akin to, like, let's say Robert Downey Jr. plays Iron Man. Iron Man is dead. All right? So, Iron Man...
alert.
Spoilers, who cares?
15 months later.
I don't even watch the Marvel movies, but I know what happened. Everybody knows what happened. All right, Bruce Willis is dead too. Okay, so what was it? This
3-0 Vegas.
Oh wow! Oh, they're pouring it on. Yikes!
99-92.
Dallas not doing Tobin any favors. The last 2 goals have been on the power play.
Oh, yikes! Yeah, that's just rough on your goaltender. All right, so what was it? What was I on? Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. It's almost like, let's say I'm using maybe the WWE's thinking about this, and he played Iron Man. I would assume that Disney would have a problem if he's basically going on a Twitch stream as, hey everybody, Iron Man here, and using Iron Man's name, likeness, and all that stuff to promote himself and profit off of that. Maybe that's the same thinking, like, hey, we own your character, thus much like it's our IP in a sense, so you can't profit off of it, you just play the character.
It's kind of like Stephen Colbert.
Colbert Report.
Right, he can't be Stephen Colbert, the conservative character anymore, because that's Comedy Central, meaning Viacom.
IP.
That's their intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Which he kind of got around by saying that Stephen Colbert has a cousin also named Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
which I guess was fine with Viacom's legal department.
Yeah.
But he can't use Stephen Colbert anymore.
He can't assume the role of that character on
and
CBS.
Then update on the goal, it was waved off due to goaltender interference.
It's kind of funny because was it CBS is Viacom, so
they're subsidiaries, maybe, I think.
Or maybe I don't remember. Honestly, I can't remember who owns whom anymore.
Yeah. It's all gonna get owned by Disney. We all know it.
Right. But whoever owns Comedy Central said no can do.
Yeah.
So Stephen Colbert is gone, and now is Stephen Colbert on the show by Stephen Colbert. And yes, that does make sense.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking of what WWE is trying to do, which I know is sleazy when it comes from them.
Business, yeah.
But I can kind of get it.
So the rumor is that it came down because Lana was doing an energy drink commercial and benefiting off that using the Lana name. So talent's disgruntled. Obviously, I would be pissed off too, because if you're saying I'm B, not A, then B should be able to branch out anywhere. And what that means is, I don't know. I'm waiting to see what someone's going to... Because here's the thing. If there's a difference between saying and doing. So if you're frustrated, it feels good, right?
I'm watching, yes.
You see, it just like Finn Balor winning the title, it's all right in the world. But we don't know what the punishments are, because how do I want to say this delicately? When you have accusations and allegations of some of your talent being, child molesters for all intents and purposes, or rapists, and you keep them on the ball, or if they've been using the steroid stuff and you're keeping them in the wellness program and not firing them, but them trying to make money on their own brand, that's the worst thing? Come on now. But morality means nothing in the business, and we all know this. So it's an interesting dilemma. It's still developing, because who's going to see the charge that comes into it? Small briefings in wrestling. SmackDown's excellent right now. Recently, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Love the pairing. It's so good. They're continuing the story with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Raw's whatever, but that's because it's just conventional. NXT's been pretty fire. But I want to keep it short to talk about the other big wrestling corporation that's out there in my eyes, AEW, aside from New Japan. But New Japan wasn't really doing anything. We talked about them last week. AEW had their pay-per-view, All Out. There was a 9-card match that kind of came on, and there was a couple of things that were in there. Lance Archer won an elimination, Battle Royale, Casino Royale thing to get number 1 contendership against a winner. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. We're going to talk about that. Hikaru Shida defeated Thunder Rosa to retain her title. FTR beat Kenny Omega and Adam Page to win the AEW Tag Team Champions. FTR used to be formerly known as the Revival. They were like, F you, Vince, we're going to go over here now, and they won, so good on them. Orange Cassidy defeated Chris Jericho. Good, I'm done with this feud. Jon Moxley defeated MJF. Meh. But in the sum of things, like the pay-per-view itself was just botch galore. Botches, for those who are now listening first time, is when mistakes happen, right? So the first one is poor Matt Sydal comes as the secret entrant for the Casino Battle Royale, and then he goes to do his shooting star press. I guess it was sweaty, slips as he's doing the shooting star press and lands on like his hip. And then we get to Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara, and I sent you guys that that tweet. So long story short, they're on top of some compactor or lift, and the spot was that they were supposed to go through the table where Sammy tackles Matt. They were too close. Matt's head just hits the pavement. He's out cold, guys. Like, I know wrestling, and I know when it's really real of an injury, and I know it's a storyline injury. Here we go. He looks like he got knocked out by Mike Tyson. If I had to conceptualize what a regular average man would look like getting knocked out of Mike Tyson, it's when Matt Hardy's head hits, and the camera was smart because whoever was the producer, good on them, because they knew it was going to go folly, and they switched it.
Just looking at it now.
Oh, it is rough. It is rough. So, I
got to turn that away.
It's tough, and I've seen like Japanese death matches or Texas death matches coming into wrestling, but it's that pavement hitting the floor. And Luckily, he came out healthy, no concussion, allegedly, because wrestling is also about what? Keeping secrets. Like, listen, I'm going to say it right now, even though this is not AEW, let me give you an idea how bad wrestling is. At Over the Edge pay-per-view, when Owen Hart broke his damn neck and died on his way to the hospital, Vince McMahon kept the show going. You don't know what people be doing for dollars. So here comes into my secret goon, my true goon of the week, AEW management for letting Matt Hardy come back to continue the match, despite the fact that he was not good. Not at all. And it ends with them climbing up on a, because it was like a broken rule, so it was really like last man standing. They had to climb up top of one of the, I'll call him like a pillar, but I don't know what to actually call it, but like just up on the stage, and Sammy Guevara fell through the table. But Matt's not there. He's woozing around. He's trying to fake it, that he's okay. And now he's trying to stumble as he's climbing up. You should have done that, man. That's a bad move. This is people's health, because it's not even just him. It's also his talent that he's working with, which is Sammy. And they said he didn't have a concussion, I'm sure, but his brain's a little scrambled right there, pal. And the idea that I have with it that's a problem is that you did it, and I know why you did it, allegedly, is because the story was if Matt loses, he's done with wrestling. This is wrestling. There's plenty of people who have retired and come back. Mick Foley's retired like 4 times and has come back. You know, the only ones who don't truly retire or who truly retire are the dead ones. Yeah. Hulk Hogan will come out right now. Ric Flair came out of his retirement to wrestle in TNA because he was broke. You could have found a way, because that's super dangerous. And here's the thing. That's not even like a typical kind of botch where someone's bloody or anything of that nature. That's one of the rare times I've seen a stone cold knockout. Yeah. And that kind of arena floor is much different than if we fell onto the damn like street, you guys. The mixture and the concrete they have there, not cool. Yeah. I know. But Charles, you've seen like, you know, Abdullah the Butcher cut himself up. It's different. It's the impact. You see his neck just snap back, and then someone says, "Oh, the doctor says he can go back in." What doctor? Your kid? The one who's like, let's play doctor with his little girlfriend or boyfriend in the tent when they're 6 years old. It's like, I diagnose you with a bruise, boo-boo, because Matt's like lumbering around. Yeah. He's not fine.
Oh, and you're not alone with the sentiment either. People are like that. They should have just called it. It should have been like, oh, nope. Yeah. They got the SpongeBob wrestling memes here. Oh, this is an account? What the heck?
Let me give you the universal language that you guys need to know. When you see the ref go the X mark with their arms, that means it's legitimate. Okay. And Aubrey Edwards...
Well, wait a second, Charles. I've heard that occasionally they'll use it as kayfabe.
Yeah, but we addressed that a little bit earlier. Sort of like, man, you saw it. That's not clear. She looked, she touched his neck. Yep. He wasn't reacting. She went X immediately. And they stopped the match. He was out for like a couple minutes. They stopped the match. Yeah, because, you know, AEW cares about making everything about the product, because the pay-per-view was not good. The reviews for the pay-per-view top down were not good. Like, you know, the match that was supposed to be good, which FTR versus Omega and Page, was apparently not good. The Battle Royale was just botch city. Darby Allin also took another botch, too. They put him in a body bag of thumbtacks, and they powerbombed him over the top rope. Brian Cage did, and it looks like he landed on his neck, but who knows? But look, some wrestlers want to die. That's fine. You know, it's a carny. I've always told you guys that. It's a circus, right? And you have to do those weird, abnormal things. Some people breathe with fire. Some people, you know, put swords down their throats and come out. And then some people just, you know, fall from a damn compactor or a lift and then want to proceed with it. But not cool. And that goes to show that what I always tell people is, yes, we know wrestling's scripted. You might call it fake, but I don't see no football player taking a bump like that for less money, mind you, severely less money. I don't see baseball players ever getting that kind of physical, dropping 20, 30 feet. And there might be padding, but that stuff still hurts. You guys ever just step wrong, waking up out of bed, and you feel like my day's over? That's literally these guys every day. No amount of Vicodin, Percocet, anything like that's going to heal that stuff. And then Matt, the concern with Matt is just like, you're also, you know, at the end of your game here. You know, you're very long in the tooth. You're like 45, 46. You might be more fragile, bones, tendons, everything of that nature. What you got going on? So, bad move for Matt to be a thrill seeker. Bad move on AEW for trying to be there. All Out was just a very blah pay-per-view. It was one of those few pay-per-views too, though, which I wish I had local friends who liked AEW, because I was like, I'll pay half and half. I'm not paying 50. But I heard it was so bad that it would just, and I heard it was boring. I'm like, ugh. So I watched the YouTube highlights. I haven't revisited besides Matt nearly get his neck broken. But that's really what I got for the cage. Clash of Champions coming September 27th. They're setting things up. You're getting a rematch of Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Totally expect Randy to finally win that one. We're going to see how AEW deals with that kind of fiasco. And if the best thing about wrestling, you can always forget that it happened, right? You do not. That's your get out of jail free card, guys. Don't acknowledge the storyline. The storyline is abandoned. It's dropped. If it only could be just like those embarrassing moments when we were in middle school telling some guy or girl that we like him, I think you cute. You want to go dance with me? He's like, no, and we wish you could forget about him. We can't do that in real life, but we can do that in wrestling. And I think that's all I got for you this week on the cage. Very big ups to Finn Balor and very big ups to the Miami Heat, who are now the Eastern Conference Finals, man.
Yep. First time since 2014.
And you know what? No one has us going far. No, I didn't even have us going far, but
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. All right. Quick goon. Novak Djokovic. I mean, come on, dude. Seriously.
There you go.
Yeah, come on, dude. Just calm down, all right? Sheesh. I know it was accident and frustration, but no. All right? Just come on. Get it together, all right? Just sheesh. This is why Mario doesn't play with you, all right? Mario was in that Mario Tennis Aces commercial. Rafi Nadal. That's who he was with. Right?
Mario's big leagues, man.
Yeah, Mario doesn't have time for that. No.
Djokovic is just a joke.
Oh, all right. So I think we're done with this. All right, next week I will do the contest for the pennant that I have to give away. So whatever. Look forward to that. I'll figure out how we're going to do it. I'll promote it all week. And we'll see you guys next week. All right?
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Adios.
Take care.
Yeah, get Crusader Kings 3, get it. And what was it? As far as the eye can see?
As far as, yeah. No, it's something. Just go buy stuff that we advertise, please.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Ball one.
You let that one get away from him, Vin.